Welcome to my channel, Code with Fernando. Today we're going to continue with Phase 2, Module 1, Understanding Mono and Flux. Introduction. In Project Reactor, everything revolves about two code types, Mono and Flux. This abstraction represents a synchronous data sequence and are the foundation for building reactive systems. We have Mono emits 0 or 1 item for single value of any results, for example, HTTP response or a database fetch. On the other hand, we have Flux. Flux emits 0 of many items from a stream of data, for example, events, leads, list, continuous updates. They enable non-blocking and lazy execution. Nothing happens until you subscribe. We have already seen that before. It helps build clean, composable, and reactive pipelines with operators like map, filter, flatmap, and more. Choosing the right way improves clarity, performance, and error handling in your application. So understanding when and how to use Mono versus Flux is quite critical for writing efficient and maintainable reactive code. Okay, now we have Mono and Flux. What's the difference? Okay, we have already discussed about Mono. Mono emits 0, 1 item. We use Mono for single value result, and let's think of it like an optional or maybe computable feature, but in a reactive way. Okay? Then we have Flux. Flux emits 0 to many items. This is used for sequence of continuous streams, for example, event streams, database rows. Let's think of a flux like a stream, okay, but in a sink, lazy and with back pressure, okay. So use case examples: Mono get user 42, and Flux is we need more users. That's why we get users. Okay, this is quite interesting and important. Some mental model and key traits to keep in mind. They're called by default. Okay, it means nothing happens until you subscribe. Okay, lifecycle signals. They both emit on next, on error, and on complete. They're composable. We can change operators like map, flat map, filter, and retry. We have already seen that before also. Back pressure aware, especially with Flux for controlling fast producers. Okay, then we have thread safe and lazy, idea for building responsive and non-blocking apps. Okay, so we use Mono for single async results, and we use Flux for async sequence of streaming data. Okay, now we have Mono and Flux lifecycle. Okay, they're called by default. No data flows until subscribe is called. Stream is built but idle until activated. Okay, then standard reactive lifecycle. We know this already. Unsubscribe, which means triggered when subscriber connects. On next, which means emits one or more data items. Then we have on complete, signals successful termination. Finally, we have on error, signals failure, stream ends with error. Okay, so these lifecycle events are part of the reactive stream specification. We have a complete video about that. Then we have Mono versus Flux signal flow. Mono lifecycle, like I told you before, emits 0 or 1 by using the onNext method. Then always ends with onComplete or onError. One of those, never two. If no value, only onComplete is sent. Okay. Now, Flux lifecycle emits 0 to many onNext values. Okay, it ends with onComplete onError, the same as this, same as Mono. It is this idea of sequence, event streams of batch data. Understanding the life cycle ensures predictable flows, enables proper use of operators, and improves resilience in error handling and cleanup. Okay, let's continue with our code demonstration about Mono life cycle. Okay, first of all, let's create a static method. So this method will return a mono. This will be type string. How are we gonna call this method? Let's call find by book. No, find book by title. Okay, it's much better. Find book by title takes a string. Let's call this parameter title. Okay, so if our title is called Effective Java. This is a name of a book, very famous book, by the way. Okay, if our book is called Effective Java, let's call this method of strings equal in our case. Okay, it's equal to the title we get from the parameter. So in that case, what do? We return a mono. Okay, a mono with the text. Yes, Effective Java by this guy is called Joshua Block or something like that. Blotch, I guess. Otherwise, we return a mono empty. Okay, that's our static method. Then, what do we do? In our main method, let's simulate book search. Okay, let's call this book search. Book search. Okay, in here, let's create a title for book. Title to find. Find. So this book will be called effective Java, like this. Okay, this is the same. Yeah, sure. Now let's continue with example number 1. Will be in that case which the book is found. So what do? We call this find book by title. Okay, we pass a parameter. In this case, we will be title to find. Okay, and here what do? We know already what is lifecycle. Do unsubscribe. Okay, do unsubscribe. Subscribe. Okay, in here we subscribe. In here we print subscribe to book search. Okay, now what do? We do the next signal. We call do on next. Do on next. We call the book. Okay, and here we print do on next. We take this found book because the book was found in this case. Found book space, and we have concatenated with the book. Okay, then in case this is success, do success. What are we doing here? Okay, let's print do on success. Do on success. Search completed because the search was completed already. Okay, otherwise do on error. What do? We print the error. We know already that. Error. We get the message. Okay, now we need to subscribe. Okay, so let's see this in action. Let's call it run. Yes, subscribe to book search. This one. Okay, after that, do next found book. Okay, because we pass this title of the book, which is the same of this. So we get this effective Java by Joshua Block. That's why we get this. And finally, do on success. Do on success, search completed. Nice. Okay, let's go and see the example number 2. So example number 2, in this case will be book not found. Okay, book not found. So what do? We pass the find by title and let's call it any book. Okay, doesn't matter. Do subscribe. Subscribe. Okay, we need to subscribe to this. Let's put space in here. subscribe to second search. Okay, so we know what are we doing. To second search. Okay, then what do? We call this signal do on next. Do on next, we call the book. Do on next, found book. Okay, then we call this method do on success. But we are not going to use this method because there's not going to be success in this case. But we're going to do something interesting here. Okay, get a book. Get a book. Okay, if book equal to I'm sorry, if book if equal to null. So what do we do in this case? Okay, we print incomplete book not found. Simple as that. And finally, we need to subscribe. Okay, so let's see this in action. Okay, this is example one. We don't care about this no more. Now let's go to example number two. We get this message, subscribe to second search. What we can see in here. Then, because it's null, because there's no matching here, if it don't empty, that's why we see this text. Incomplete, book not found. Okay, this is a simple example about Mono lifecycle. Okay, let's continue with this Flux lifecycle. Let's continue with our code demonstration about Flux lifecycle. Okay, first of all, I need to create some static methods. Let's create three static. Okay, this will be type Flux. Type string. How we call this method? Fetch all books. Fetch all books like that. So we return a floods just I'm sorry, just and some titles. What about clean code, effective Java, and the other one reactive Spring. Okay, some books. The other static method what will be static method of flux of type string. Okay, we call this method empty because fetch empty book list. Okay, this will return a floods of empty. Simple as that. The other method. Okay, we are going to emit some items and then it's going to fail. So it will be static flux of type string. Fetch books. Okay, fetch books with errors. Simple as that. We are going to return a flux. We are going to copy from here. Yes. Why not? Okay. And then what do? We are concatenate with concat with error. Concat with. Okay. And here we are going to return an error. Okay. A new runtime exception. Let's simulate a database connection error. Database connection error. As simple as that. Okay, now that we have our three static methods, let's continue with our example. This will be example number one. Example number one will be called book found. Okay, example one books found. Simple as that. So what do? We call this method fetch all books. Okay, Now do the unsubscribe. Subscribe. We subscribe. As we know already. Subscribe to book list. Okay. What's the next method? Book list. Then undo next. Do on. Do next. We take the book and we print the book. Do on next, and let's print the book in here. Okay. Then what do we do? The do on complete in do on complete. Okay. In here we just print on complete and all books sent. Okay. So let's take this. Okay. All books were sent. Finally, do an error in case there's an error. We know we're not going to see it in error, but just in case. Error, and we print the message. And we subscribe, as we know already. Nice. So we see this message, book found. Okay, we know this. Then do unsubscribe, subscribe to book list. Yes. Next. We're using this signal, do on next. That's why we see do on next in the name of the book. Book number 1, book number 2, book number 3. That's why we see the 3 books. And finally, the incomplete. This, well, all books were sent. Great. Okay, let's continue with our example number 2. Okay, example 2. Okay, so this one, let's print this so we have a better idea what are we doing. We don't need to see this anymore. Okay, so let's call this example number 2. Let's make a space in here. Okay, example number 2. In this case will be no books found. Okay, no books found. So which static method we use? Fetch empty book list, which is this one. Okay, fetch empty book list. Okay, so what do we do? Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe, simple as that. Unsubscribe. In here we print the message. Subscribe to empty book list. Okay, then do next. Do on next. Okay, we print the book, but we know that we are not going to see anything. But anyway, it's important to do it. Do on next, and we print the book. Okay, down here, do on complete. Do on complete. Okay, in here, we print the message. Do on complete, and no books to sell. And finally, we need to subscribe, as usual. Okay, let's see this in action. Okay, example number 2. Look at this. No books found. Okay, now we see this message because we have subscribed to that. Subscribe to empty book list. Okay, do complete. Because we are not seeing anything from here because we get an empty in here, a flux empty. We were expecting that, so we know. And finally, we see these messages. Do incomplete. Do incomplete. No books to send. That's why we see this message. Okay, let's continue with example. The final one. This will be example number 3. Example 3. Okay, this one will be with some errors. Okay, so example 3. Okay. Example error y fetching. A simple step. So which method, which static method do we need to use? This one, okay? Let's call this method. So we know what to do already. Do unsubscribe. That do. Okay. Do unsubscribe. We subscribe to this one. So this, let's call this one subscribe to empty book list. The same as that. Empty. No, it's not empty book list. To list with errors. To list with errors. Because that's what we're going to get. Now we get the do on next. Let's copy this one. Copy all. Sure, why not? Okay, we see the book in here. Do on complete. We are going to see. Yeah. Now we need to add one more. Do on ever. Oh, do on ever. Okay. Let's see. Let's see this message. Do on ever. Ever. Get message. Okay. As simple as that. And do on complete. We don't need. I think do on complete. Let's call this done. Because we are not sending any book anymore, right? So let's see example number 3 in action. Aha, yes, we're expecting that. Okay, example number 3. Error while fetching. Okay, this message. After that, subscribe to list with errors. Okay, this one, good. Next, these 3 books. Which books? These 3. Then what do we do? What do we get? A runtime exception. That's what we see here. Doing error, database connection error, and boom, error. So this is a very good example of Flux lifecycle.